Hello, everybody. I'm here with someone I think the greatest American author. I started reading his books years ago, and I just couldn't believe one book after another. I would wait to see when his new novel would come out, and it wasn't just me; it was my three children, my wife. Everybody just absolutely loves Nelson DeMille. His books are amazing, and welcome, Nelson. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Dr. Shlofmitz.
No problem. So I'm glad that you're doing okay, as you said earlier. You know, when you write novels, what I've noticed about your novels is that a lot of it comes from your own personal history. You're from Long Island, you fought in Vietnam, and a lot of your amazing characters and settings are things that if you're a Long Islander, you relate to them, whether it's the Gold Coast or out east in the North Fork, or if you when you were in Vietnam, you fought in Vietnam. So a lot of things you write about are from your own personal history, and then you expand on it. What's amazing about your novels is that they're realistic in that you could believe that all those events could happen, and they're exciting, and you relate to them, and it's just you are a Long Island legend, and that's what we're talking about here now. So the first question I have for you is: you've never written "quote unquote" supernatural type novels. Has this crisis stirred up some thoughts in your mind that, hey, I may write something about this, maybe make it a mystery like it was terrorism or something?
It's a good question. I can't tell you how many people in the last month have said, can you write a novel? What we call in the business the epidemiology novels, that you might remember were kind of popular in the 70s. There were a number of them out. But, when you read them, you say, well, this can't happen. Or I think most novelists would be intimidated just to try to stretch their imagination to come up with what has actually happened here. So I think I would leave that one alone. But I do want to say something. You mentioned Vietnam, and I was an infantry platoon leader, and I led a rifle platoon for a year in Vietnam, and I saw courage and I saw bravery. But I have to say, I've never seen anything like what the people in the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors, all the staff are doing. They're just absolutely amazing. I am absolutely in awe.
That's nice of you to say, but somehow us looking at what you guys did over in Vietnam seems pretty heroic itself. What are you doing for yourself? Are you spending time writing, or you're just self-isolating, or are you still on Long Island, or are you traveling anywhere?
No, I am on Long Island, but as I say to all my friends who ask me, what am I doing? I said, as a novelist, I'm in lockdown anyway. I've been in lockdown for 40 years. I have an office outside the house, and I'm the only one in the office. I go there, and I'm actually getting, I have to say, a lot of writing done. As things on my mind, obviously, with friends and COVID, but I find that the isolation. I am used to the isolation. People around me are not, and I think it's starting to take a toll on a lot of people, psychologically and emotionally.
Well, could you give us something to get excited about? For instance, is our favorite detective John Corey coming back on the scene anytime soon?
Yes, in fact, I'm gonna. The other thing about writing, during this lockdown is I write 7 days a week. So today is a Saturday, and I am going in the office, and I'm writing a John Corey novel, and we're looking. My publisher just got a hold of me the other day and said, can we have the novel sooner than later? And I said, I think it's going to be sooner because of what's going on. I haven't been out with the boys having a drink in a month and a half now. So, and I think a lot of novelists that I know are saying the same thing. Yes, normally in lockdown anyway, but this is like super lockdown. So hopefully we'll get to see a John Corey novel in spring of 2021.
Now, recently you did something which I think it was one of the first times you did it. You co-authored with somebody who was important to you, no?
Yeah, my son, my son Alex, is a screenwriter, and so he had the skills. He had the skills. He knew how to lay out a story. He knew how to pace it. And I said, "Why don't you get into my business? I can't get into your business. I can't do screenplays." So we wrote a book together called The Deserter, which has come out about a year ago and coming out in paperback, in about well, actually in June. The other thing about book sales have actually gone up. Um, every author is telling me this, and I'm seeing this in the trade magazine, Publishers Weekly. Uh, you can say some good will come out of what's going on now. I don't think any real, some good will come out of it. One of it is I think people are getting back to talking to each other and maybe back to reading again. I see this, with book sales, and I see this with people who are actually discussing books now, which you haven't heard about in a long time.
That's really a good point, because how many times can you watch the same news reporters attacking a politician and vice versa? It's the same story every night. And how many times can you watch reruns of Law and Order? So at some point, hopefully people will open up novels and even reread some of them. I just remember the first time I read your first book I read was The Charm School. And I had no idea what you were writing about. I was on vacation and I opened up the book, and this college student, if I'm not mistaken, was in a hotel being tracked down and executed. And it opens up a whole new world there that was fascinating. And then I got hooked. And it was one thing after the other. More recently, you have a new hero, not just John Corey, um, in the Caribbean, I guess going to Venezuela. Is he going to be coming back again as a different hero in one of your novels?
Yeah, I think so. People seem to respond to these action adventure books, and that was a guy named Mac McCormick, and he got involved with the Cubans, and it was a standalone novel. But we just actually made a deal with Paramount Motion Pictures for a major motion picture with the Cuban Affairs, the name of the book. So probably, yeah, I'll bring the character back. Also wanted to say, although I never touched on epidemiology in any of my books, I mean, I never made it the crux of the book, but I did touch on it in a book called Plum Island, which I know you read. Plum Island is about the American where we do biological research on Plum Island off the North Shore or North Fork of Long Island. So anybody's interested in that subject, but I think we're all tired of this subject. I don't think anybody I know is reading epidemiology books now. We're looking for escape, and I think books are a good way to do it.
Absolutely. Well, you always, when I start one of your books, the only problem is when you finish it, you're hungry for more, and imagine a lot of people tell you that. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on with us. I can't wait for your next new book. If you have one of the books turned into a movie and you need an actor, just give me a call. I'll be glad to, do a screen test for you. All right. But if you need anything from us, just let us know. And thank you so much, Nelson.
Thank you for all you do.
Take care.